Have you ever wondered which Asian countries Americans can visit visa-free in 2025, and why the US is finally giving them the green light? Stick around, because country number 1 might just shock you. From quiet Gulf kingdoms to global tech giants and rising regional players, we're counting down the top 10 nations whose citizens get 90-day access to the US without a visa, and revealing the surprising economic, diplomatic, and security reasons behind each inclusion. Country 10. Qatar. Qatar became the first Gulf nation admitted to the US Visa Waiver Program effective December 1, 2024, making it eligible for visa-free travel to the United States in 2025. This milestone reflects Doha's dedication to meeting VWP criteria, biometric e-passports, low visa refusal and overstay rates, and strengthened counterterrorism and law enforcement cooperation with the US. As the 42nd country included, Qatar's inclusion underscores its strategic value as a trusted partner in energy, diplomacy, and regional security. Under this designation, eligible Qatari citizens may travel for tourism or business to the US for up to 90 days without needing a traditional visa, using the ESTA system. The program streamlines entry while preserving rigorous security checks, balancing ease of travel with trusted collaboration. Qatar's elevated status within the VWP reflects its diplomatic maturity, high economic standing, and robust compliance with international travel standards, all while maintaining respectful and mutually beneficial ties with the United States. Country 9. Israel. In a significant diplomatic milestone, Israel officially joined the US Visa Waiver Program in late 2023, becoming the 41st nation eligible for visa-free travel to the United States. Qualified Israeli citizens with biometric passports can now apply through the electronic system for travel authorization and visit the US for up to 90 days for business or tourism without obtaining a traditional visa. This inclusion reflects Israel's successful compliance with stringent VWP criteria, including secure passport issuance, low refusal and overstay rates, and seamless sharing of counterterrorism and immigration data with US authorities. This decision highlights the deepening strategic alignment between the US and Israel across technology, academic exchange, and law enforcement cooperation. Reciprocal travel privileges were also ensured, affirming equitable access for all US citizens, including those of Palestinian or Arab heritage. The VWP designation is subject to ongoing monitoring, meaning compliance with security and human rights standards remains essential to preserve this visa-free status. Israeli citizens now benefit from streamlined access to the United States, reinforcing ties through easier travel while maintaining robust diplomatic and security frameworks. Country 8. Japan. Japan has been a founding member of the US Visa Waiver Program since December 15, 1988, making it one of the earliest Asian nations granted visa-free access to the United States. Qualified Japanese citizens holding biometric passports can apply for travel authorization using ESTA and visit the US for up to 90 days for tourism or business purposes, without applying for a traditional visa. Japan's inclusion reflects decades of tight collaboration with the US, marked by robust counterterrorism coordination, immigration enforcement cooperation, and secure passport infrastructure. Throughout its long VWP membership, Japan has maintained visa refusal and overstay rates consistently below the required 3% threshold. Its global economic influence, spanning automotive, consumer electronics, robotics, and advanced manufacturing, further cements mutual trust in bilateral travel and trade. For Japanese travelers, this means smoother access to academic, entrepreneurial, and leisure opportunities in the US, reinforcing enduring ties rooted in shared values, economic partnerships, and secure mobility. Country 7. South Korea. South Korea has been part of the US Visa Waiver Program since 2008, granting eligible citizens visa-free access to the United States for up to 90 days via ESTA. This inclusion stems from South Korea's strong alignment with US security prerequisites, including issuance of biometric e-passports and a refusal rate that consistently hovers below 3%. Even as recent reopening trends sparked a rise in visa applications, the US maintains confidence in South Korea's travel compliance. South Korean applicants face only a single-digit refusal rate, and its overstay rate stands at an exceptionally low 0.3% for short-term visitors, well under VWP thresholds. The relationship between Washington and Seoul extends well beyond visa policy. Economic ties include substantial bilateral trade and travel, over 2 million South Koreans visited the US in 2024 alone, underscoring the importance of streamlined entry. Security cooperation is equally robust, with intelligence sharing and law enforcement collaboration in counterterrorism efforts enhancing mutual trust. For South Korean travelers, VWP status means simplified access to business, education, and tourism opportunities in the United States, symbolizing a partnership based on economic strength, regional stability, and secure travel infrastructure. Country 6. Singapore. Singapore has been a designated member of the U.S. Visa Waiver Program since August 1999, enabling eligible citizens to visit the United States for tourism or business stays of up to 90 days without requiring a traditional visa. This status reflects Singapore's consistent compliance with rigorous U.S. security benchmarks, including the issue of biometric e-passports, refusal rates safely under 3%, and strong immigration data sharing protocols with U.S. authorities. In addition to streamlined travel via the ESTA system, Singapore's global reputation for financial stability, ultra-low crime, and modern infrastructure reinforces its trusted position among U.S. partners. For Singaporean travelers, this means enhanced access to U.S. trade, academia, and leisure opportunities with minimal procedural obstacles. Its inclusion in the VWP demonstrates a bilateral commitment to secure mobility and economic collaboration, highlighting Singapore's ongoing alignment with U.S. global priorities. Country 5. Taiwan. Taiwan was formally admitted into the U.S. Visa Waiver Program on November 1, 2012, making it one of the select Asian entities, under U.S. law, whose qualified passport holders may visit the United States visa-free for up to 90 days via an ESTA authorization. Under the Taiwan Relations Act, U.S. statutes treat Taiwan equivalently to other participating countries, even though it is not a UN member. Eligible travelers must hold electronic passports compliant with biometric security requirements and meet all program thresholds, including low visa refusal and overstay rates. Inclusion in the VWP underscores Taiwan's strategic importance to U.S. policy, particularly its key role in global semiconductor supply chains, diplomatic alignment, and political stability. For Taiwanese citizens, this visa-free status opens access to U.S. academic institutions, trade missions, cultural exchanges, and tourism with streamlined entry procedures. The two-way arrangement fosters deeper bilateral cooperation while safeguarding security and maintaining mutual respect. Taiwan's VWP participation represents a blend of economic collaboration, technological value, and adherence to rigorous immigration standards, strengthening ties between Washington and Taipei. Country 4. Malaysia. As of 2025, Malaysia is not yet part of the U.S. Visa Waiver Program, meaning that Malaysian citizens still need to apply for a B1 or B2 visa to visit the United States. Official statements confirm Malaysia has met 6 out of the 7 statutory requirements for VWP eligibility, including e-passport issuance, no visa requirements for U.S. citizens visiting Malaysia, deportation agreements, and data sharing cooperation with U.S. authorities. However, the remaining hurdle is the visa refusal rate, which must remain below 3% but currently hovers between 3.4% and 3.7%, largely due to incomplete or incorrect application forms on the Malaysian side. In addition, Malaysia faces scrutiny in areas such as human trafficking prevention and border security compliance, which also factor into eligibility assessments conducted by U.S. authorities. The U.S. ambassador to Malaysia has noted that while improvements are underway, ongoing enhancements in denial rates and law enforcement cooperation are essential before VWP status can be granted. If Malaysia successfully addresses these elements and achieves consistent visa approval rates above 97%, it could become the third ASEAN nation, after Singapore and Brunei, to join the VWP, potentially opening visa-free U.S. travel for Malaysian visitors in the future. Country 3. Philippines. The Philippines is not currently included in the U.S. Visa Waiver Program, meaning Filipino citizens must still apply for a B1 or B2 visitor visa to travel to the United States. Recent data indicates a U.S. non-immigrant visa refusal rate of approximately 23.8% in 2023, meaning moderately high scrutiny due to concerns over overstays and unclear travel purposes. Overstay rates for Filipino visitors are estimated at just over 7%, which exceeds the VWP threshold of 3% for admission eligibility. However, the Philippines remains a strong U.S. partner in economic, cultural, and diaspora terms, with over 1 million Filipino travelers visiting the US annually and significant contributions in healthcare, IT, and domestic employment sectors. If visa refusal rates decline and e-passport adoption improves further, the Philippines may someday qualify for VWP inclusion. Such change would significantly ease travel for tourism, education, and business, fostering deeper bilateral ties while ensuring compliance with US security and travel standards. Country 2. India. As of April 2025, India is not part of the US Visa Waiver Program, meaning Indian citizens must continue applying for B1 or B2 visas for travel to the US. Despite India's growing economic stature and extensive diaspora ties, multiple criteria, including reciprocity, visa refusal rates above the required threshold, and lingering immigration concerns, place India outside VWP eligibility. Indian travelers still face a standard interview process, document scrutiny, and processing time, in contrast to the streamlined ESTA system available to citizens of 41 participating nations. India's leadership and diplomatic community are actively engaging with US authorities to address these gaps in mutual interest. Reducing refusal and overstay rates, enhancing e-passport coverage, strengthening law enforcement cooperation, and meeting reciprocity standards are priorities. India has offered to repatriate nationals residing unlawfully in the US and reiterated its commitment to legal migration pathways and rule-based partnerships. With sustained reforms and institutional alignment, India's inclusion in the VWP remains a goal, one that would facilitate easier educational, business, and professional ties, benefiting millions and reinforcing the long-term strategic partnership between the two democracies. Country 1. China. Visa Waiver Program as of 2025, meaning Chinese citizens must continue applying for a B1 or B2 visa to travel to the United States. This exclusion is rooted in statutory restrictions introduced by the Visa Waiver Program Improvement and Terrorist Travel Prevention Act of 2015, which bars nationals from countries such as Iran, North Korea, Sudan, Syria, and China from participating in the VWP, as well as anyone who recently visited those countries. Although China poses no direct threat, broader security-based policy considerations and statutory limitations currently prevent any VWP access for its citizens. Additionally, the US allows a limited visa exemption for travel to the Northern Mariana Islands, a US territory, where Chinese nationals may enter for up to 14 days under a special ETA program. However, this is strictly confined to that territory and does not extend to travel into mainland US or other states. As a result, Chinese citizens planning travel to the US beyond this niche exception must follow the full visa protocol, underscoring the program's political and security sensitivities. In 2025, only 6 Asian-Pacific entities, Israel, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan, and Qatar, are fully part of the US Visa Waiver Program, enabling their citizens to travel to the US for up to 90 days without a visa via ESTA. Countries like Malaysia, the Philippines, and India remain outside the program but are actively working to meet eligibility criteria such as low visa refusal rates and robust e-passport systems. Should they qualify in the future, visa-free access would significantly enhance bilateral travel, educational, and professional ties. Thank you for watching the Discovery Trail. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on global mobility and travel policy in 2025.